Welcome to episode 4 of the SCL game analysis. This week we're looking at Randolorians Baywatch versus Grey Squadrons Tempest. Week 1, Season 4 on Galitan. Game 1, we have Tempest coming out as Rebels and we have Baywatch coming out as Empire. Soda obviously in support, Maticus and Lions in Y-Wings, and Scribbler and Velian in X-Wings. Bathwater and Detenchi for Baywatch in TIE Bombers, Disco Dino in a TIE Fighter, Fame Plane obviously in our Reaper, and Alex in a Defender. Let's have a look at their loadouts. Soda, very standard there. Maticus Rex, double ions. Sorry, that just went a little bit too quickly. I want to go back over that. Maticus, Goliath, and Multilocks, standard stuff there with Chaff, and Scribbler with Chaff, Torp, and Iron Missile. Torp and Iron Missile for Velian as well, and Lions also in standard farm with Chaff. Engines and shields might differ between these, but so far standard loadouts. Rando Alex with those anti-starfighter missiles and ion missiles, looking to apply some PK pressure. Fame Plane, standard. Disco Dino with an ion torp and ion missile. Ballsy move. Let's see if he goes with it, if he uses it on the raider, or if he waits to try and use it on one of the frigates to get those shields down instantly. Now, if you get... Oh, was that dumbfire as well from Detenchi there? I think that was. Yep, dumbfire there. Standard farm builds for Bathwater and Detenchi as well, but Bathwater flying in too much of a straight line for too long gets ioned. Farm starts coming in then. And a kill as well. Bathwater goes down, able to capitalize on that ion. That's good. Oh, he was trying to catch the dumbfire. And as a result gets punished because of that ion, so the farm was counteracted. The farm should be a lot quicker here for Rebels. This is one of the few maps where I'll say that the farm is actually better for Rebels than Empire, even though Empire has the speed advantage with the shunt ships, because it's all to do with the way that the packs form. So, because Rebels, their AI packs come out in a flying V, it means that, especially on a map like Galitan, they break up, they disperse, they take a long time to reform, to group up in the first place. It's just absolutely terrible. And the Empire side of things, it's in that cross formation, so it's a lot easier to kind of pick them off just as they start to enter this kind of middle ground where this first battle takes place. So 1 kill in the open, I think. Detenchi is really low. Oh no, 2 kills. So both bombers go down there. How much farm, though? We saw the initial pack come off of Baywatch, and then half a pack there for Tempest, and then a couple of stragglers, and then the kill, and then a couple more AI. They really shouldn't... The AI shouldn't be stragglers there. It should be big packs for the Rebels. It should really be big packs. So Disco Dino wasn't able to capitalize using that Ion Torp, so he's going to have to go use it on the Raider for this defense. And Scribbler with this cheeky little dance that he's doing around the back to get those shields down. It did take longer than I would have expected. I'm not sure where the other ion carriers were, and I'm not sure where a Soda is. But that's assuming that a Soda is actually running ion primaries. But they do get the shields down. It's about 10 seconds too late for my liking, but it's Galitan. Takes a while to maneuver the rocks and things. Maticus gets taken out on his way in. Too much of a straight line there. I did see... Is that a conversion shield as well? Yeah, standards and conversion shield. Okay. So that is the best combination for a conversion shield, but I'm still... Personally, I'm still not sold on the idea of it. It just means that... I mean, I guess in that situation, you're just trying to survive, so a conversion shield would mean that you survive slightly longer, but it is only extremely brief. The damage output is a little bit slow here from Tempest. It is a little bit slow. So there was the initial 10 seconds longer for the shields, and then it took them quite a while for Charlie to be out of phaseable, which is about there. Yeah, so that took about 30 seconds, which is a reasonable time, actually. That's a reasonable time. When did Delta's shields go down? Roughly the same time, didn't they? Yeah. So they get whittled down, comes down. Maticus Rex got taken out, it comes back out. Oh wait, I actually read the morale wrong there. I thought that was Baywatch's morale. So Tempest are actually in a really good situation here. A really, really good situation. The farm seems to be incredibly slow for Baywatch. I know that they had the 2 deaths on the open, but we're a minute 20 into this phase, and the morale is not even... Okay, it just goes over half, but that's because of the Raider. And there was a kill as well, so that's 30 points of morale, and we're on about 50-ish? So a minute and a half, and they've got both of them out of phaseable. So at this point, a couple of times I've seen this situation, and it's I genuinely find it's quite a fascinating situation, because Baywatch know that Tempest are going to try and save these for out of phase, right? They want them to be out of phaseable, so they can flip that phase, that defensive phase, a lot quicker. Sorry, so that Tempest can flip the phase a lot quicker. Baywatch know that Tempest are going to do this, so Baywatch need to maximize their potential attack. And the way that they do this is they go back and they sort out loadouts, and they sort out ordnance, and they make sure that they are fully kitted, ready to go. Because only 2 things can happen here. Because both teams want to win, so there's never a situation where a team is just going to go, oh, well, I'm not going to bother, I'm just going to wait and let the time run down, right? So there's 2 things that you can do. The first is the one that I've mentioned, where everybody goes back, they get kitted, they make sure that they are absolutely 100% top-notch, ready to take it to the opposition, right? Shields down fast, damage output fast, they need to capitalize, because they are massively behind at this point. Both frigates are phaseable in the first attack, massively behind, so they've got to pull out all the stops in order to get through. And the other thing, and this is from the other side, is that Tempest can also set up for a perfect defense if they want to, because they don't have to force it, right? They know that Baywatch have got 2 options. They either go in as is, or they go back and they try and prep for their attack. But it does look like they don't opt to become fully kitted before committing to going in, which I do think is a mistake. Because even though you're going back and you're getting resupplied and you're sorting yourselves out, and you are giving your opponents the opportunity to set up for a perfect defense, you're also setting up for a perfect attack, a perfect offense. And that's the best that you can kind of do in this situation. Slow farm because we killed both farmers right off the end of the opener. Yes, but then the farm didn't really come in too quickly when the farmers were back on the field. It was like a minute 20, and there was only 30-40% of the morale bar actually in favor of Baywatch. That's unfortunate. Okay, so let's have a gander at how long it takes Baywatch to get these shields down. When did the phase flip first? Okay, it flips at the 28:03 mark. You've got that 7.5 seconds of transition time. They get both out of phases, so that's 30 points. They only need to find 45 more. And then they come in, and it takes 20 seconds to get the shields down. Not a bad time at all. You were trying to stop Dino's torps. Yeah. This is where the torp comes in really handy. So at this point, everyone should be piling into Delta, including the support, even if they only have ions, because you really need to come back with that OBJ, right? And I would just bunk out a resupply for Disco so that he can use his torp on Charlie. You can see that he's got a torp here, but at this point, I think he'd probably save that for the Raider. Trying to snipe it, but should have chaffed. The easiest way to actually take out someone carrying an ion torp is if you're behind them. So as they fly in, as they fly towards the frigate like that, and they fire the torp, you want to be behind them so that you can shoot at them and the torp at the same time. It's the easiest way of doing it. So even though Tempest were able to get the double out of phase to shorten that attack, Baywatch have done a really good job here to try and claw it back. I mean, they're going to be out. Some of them are going to be out of position here now when they get to their defense, but a really, really monumental effort from them to claw this back to this point. I see a couple of bonks here and there as well, so maybe people need to be just looking at going through the maps, getting their map awareness up. But really, really good. 23 is good for an out of phase, because remember, you've still got that 7.5 seconds overlay. transition time, sorry. And it looks like they've committed 2 players to doing that. And I think, was that Disco that died on the attack as well? Yep. So Disco died, Fameplane died, so he's not going to be able to get off those beacons on those players coming in. And let's have a look when it transitions so that we can see... Okay, so it was about 26:55. And Tempest know at this point there's no point defending this frigate because Baywatch are going to be absolutely committed to it. Yeah, the damage is really impressive from both sides at this point. And they were able to get the outphase. That's a cheeky little 15 points to help shorten their defense. Beacons should be off by this point. Yeah, there we go. I remember seeing this actually because I watched a little bit of it, of the actual game yesterday, and boom, both shield gens disabled at the same time. Really good job there. Again, farm's a little bit slow here because both bombers didn't die in that offense. Yeah, neither of them died here. So by this point, not here, but by this point-ish, the bombers should be on their way back and just leave Dino and Alex to finish this out phase. And then that way they can immediately start farming. Because as soon as the frigates go down as well, then you've got this massive open space in the middle on both sides of those kind of rocks where you can start farming. So you can actually start farming before the packs hit this midpoint where they start to break up and then they have to reform on the other side. It makes your job a hell of a lot easier as a farmer. So that would greatly benefit them in being able to farm quickly, but it also has the added benefit of Baywatch having both bombers being ahead of the defensive line and also being ahead of the entire team of Tempest, which means that they've got a free run at the shield gens. And if they do it right, then they can get both shield gens at the same time, 4 seconds per gen, down, and then by the time that those shield gens are down, the rest of the team, the rest of Baywatch, can come in and do the rest of the damage to the flagship that's needed. But this was just such a clean run for Tempest here. We'll count down to see when the shields go down. There, 26:25. And let's see how long it takes them to just take this whole thing. Bearing in mind that you can take a flagship in less than a minute. So it was 26:25. Weak spots starting to pop off. Yeah, Tempest were on point here. It's a shame that you guys that you guys feel that you weren't on tippity top with it. So it's been just over 30 seconds, 35, and that'll do it. Just over 40 seconds. That's a really, really impressive time from Tempest there to take that down. That was extremely clean. It's unfortunate for excuse me, for Baywatch there. I don't feel that there were many kills on Tempest outside of the open. Does Maticus go down here? In saying that though, the mechanics here on Maticus do need slight improvement. There's quite a long time here where he's not shield skipping. And then just waiting for it to come back up. Now, we mentioned last time that if you just have your power in shields full, then it reduces the cooldown time. But if you don't have your power in shields and then you dump it in shields, there is no cooldown time before it starts regenerating. So definitely think that a couple of mechanics need improvement here. But, you know, Tempest were just on point here. The farm came in quickly, the double out of phase happened quickly. Because they set up for it. The damage output is fantastic. Both on the frigates and the flagship. It's a shame for Baywatch. When does the Raider go down on this defense? So they get the out of phase, there's the 15 points, right? I don't know if the Raider has actually been prioritized at all at this point. Shields go down, takes about 20 seconds to get in and take those down, so that's a really good time as well. Really well executed. Farm comes in there. And do we see the Raider getting taken out? Bit more farm. Bit more farm. Just ones and twos, ones and twos. Now, it is difficult to get a full pack on Galitan, but at the same time, if you transition from pack to pack to pack, and by that I mean like you literally go to where the pack is going to circle, and then You farm there, and then you move and you farm in the new location. I mentioned this to the Bees last night. Did a little bit of a coaching session with them. Let's have a quick look at the scoreboard. So again, high-level play, and we're seeing not many kills and not many deaths from both sides. Tempest really impressive, only 2 kills. 2 deaths for Maticus there. And Empire is 6 deaths overall, 2 kills versus Tempest 4. Only 15 farm on Tempest, and I imagine most of that came from the open. There were 2 kills after a pack went, and then there was a bit of farm after that, so it's probably... So that'd be 20 plus 15, that's like 35 points. There's 1 pack, maybe. But I think a big problem for Baywatch in this defense was the Raider did not drop at any point. And that's a shame, because the Raider does an obscene amount of damage, really. You have to look after it. Obviously, the players are going to do damage as well. So, in this situation, right, Tempest had a 40-second attack after the shield gens went down to do the damage. And if you account the damage from the Raider, then and the passive damage from the flagship, then that's 20% over the 40 seconds. Because it equates to 1% every 2 seconds. If the Raider's not on the field, it halves that. It's a lot of damage that is just being laid into that doesn't need to be there. Yeah, unfortunate for Baywatch, though. And the farm needed to come in a bit quicker. At least it's not the deer.